District, our mission is to create lifelong learners of character who are productive members of society. Over the past 3 years, the ES3 grant has given us an opportunity to make significant strides towards this mission. Specifically, ES3 has helped drive growth in 3 areas. 1, the evolution of our coaching framework. This has allowed staff to stretch thinking and reflect more deeply on their teaching and learning practices. Coaching for SEL has shifted SEL from the hidden curriculum to an explicit part of what we do in an intentional and meaningful way. This has helped to build teacher capacity for not only meeting needs of our students with neurodiversity, but all students. Second, we've really built a culture that is really supportive. We encourage teachers to step out of their comfort zones and lean into challenging behavior with curiosity and a desire to uncover root cause rather than follow the traditional lockstep discipline process that's grounded in punishment for noncompliance. Lastly, we've had the pleasure of watching students with neurodiversity grow in ways we never thought possible. As a result, we've learned the value of high expectations and not limiting students by what they cannot do. We are learning to embrace the power of yet.
One of the main things that we've worked on is growth mindset and having a growth mindset, and that has helped me as a teacher, and it's also helped my students a lot, knowing that they can do things. If they come in with an attitude that they can't do well in math, we try to shift their thinking to think more positive thoughts about math and how they could do it, or anything that they're dealing with at that time.
The students who were with us throughout the course of the grant made amazing progress. Here are some of their results.
Say this, yellow fellow. Yellow fellow. Liam, can you find white? Please walk and do it.
Going to the calming corner. Turning the timer over. Pick an activity. Timer's all done. I'm in the green zone. I can join my class.
All right, everyone, we're voting today.
Dodgeball.
Who wants scooters? Who wants tag games? Who wants dodgeball? It's scooters!
I really want to play dodgeball. I have to leave.
In about 15 minutes, we're going to be doing tag games.
Maybe we'll play dodgeball next time.
As the school has worked with him to introduce different coping strategies, what are the strategies that he's liked and has used at home?
So I thought about this, and I think there's 2. I'm sure there's more than 2, but these are the 2 that I recognize the most. But obviously one would create the zones of regulation. He's continued to use those, but also breathing strategies and techniques. He's been using those a lot at home. So when he becomes super, super frustrated, I see him kind of like take a deep breath in, and sometimes he does a little meditation with his hands, and I've seen that continue.
Yeah, he's really good at that. And even if, one of the things that I've noticed is that even if you do your breathing like that at school, then he'll start to mimic that as well.
Yes.
So he picks up on those cues really well. All right, and then the next question, what is the biggest surprise or celebration that has occurred for him at school during the last 2 years that you've noticed?
So I feel there's been a couple things. One is for him being able to identify more emotions at school. but also recognizing emotions of others, you know, where he understands when his friends are sad now or wanting to comfort them, where I feel like before maybe he didn't really want to be involved with that. So I think obviously that's huge because he needs to understand other people's feelings, which is hard enough for him, but, you know, definitely sadness he's been able to recognize. And then I still go back to like the zones of regulation, thinking about the past 2 years when he started 4K, 5K, he really didn't understand how to identify anything. It was just everything was anger. And so giving him those tiers to determine, you know, you don't need to find a specific word, but you can identify a color for it, I think has been huge for then that to transition him into actual feelings, you know, because we went to zones of regulation. He was able to identify a lot of feelings with just a color. And now we're working on identifying those individual feelings. And I think that's made that a lot easier for him to do.
Video student 5 is seen using her flip cards. She has a ring binder of her different tools she can use to calm herself down or get herself focused back into the classroom. In the video, she's just flipping through them. That's one of her strategies, is kind of flip through them and read them each. Every once in a while, she'll pick one out and do them. Like it could be drawing a picture or taking 10 deep breaths. Yeah, she uses those throughout the day. She doesn't usually need to be prompted. She's been coached when to take them out and when to use them.
By making ourselves available and using our best coaching skills, we worked with all our staff so we could impact all our students. Our goal is to shift our mindset to being always intentional in creating inclusive opportunities for all students. After all, diversity is being invited to the party, but inclusion is being asked to dance. To help us in our practice, we participated in book studies such as Elena Aguilar's Onward and Ross Green's Lost at School. Lost at School motivated us to dive deep into training with Green's Lives in the Balance program. This program gave us the tools to identify students lacking skills, so we can now offer help and support with their specific goals. Finally, we will participate this summer in neurodiversity training. Teachers have shifted to making SEL part of everyday interactions with students, whether it be adding the word yet to I can't do this, taking a breath before trying again, or simply acknowledging what zone I'm in right now. Teachers and students alike have learned to give some grace and compassion. We've been recognized nationally through the Choose Love movement for our integration of SEL practices into the classroom and into our lives. We never would have gotten this far without our ES3 grant.
Grant has allowed me to expand my teaching of the zones of regulation to students other than the special education students I work with. This year I was able to teach it to the whole 4th grade class, which included 3 students that I work with. And last year I taught it to the then 1st grade class, which included the students. So that's been beneficial, I think, because it's more universal now in the elementary.
If you just look for the tool that helps you in the blue zone. So does taking a walk help you? If it does, you cut that one out and you put it in your blue zone. Okay? Maybe talking to an adult helps you when you're feeling a little bit sad or a little bit tired. So you can cut out the picture of talking to an adult and glue that into your blue zone.
Today, we have our reading testing. And you know a really good thing to do before testing? Break breaths, right? How many of you get a little bit nervous for testing? Yeah, so we do have to be a little bit brave, don't we? Who would like to come up and lead us in our brave breath today? Ooh, so many, everybody wants to. Easton, will you come up and lead us in our brave breath today? And everybody can stand up. And what do we need to do, Easton? And when we breathe, we can think positive thoughts about how amazing you're going to be in our testing and taking those deep breaths. All right? Go ahead.
Growth mindset, the SEL competencies, they've been really huge here at the Potosi School District. I believe that they're more important than most things in our curriculum because they're things that you see lacking in society now. So
Our success with this mindset would be when our maintenance director came to me just recently and we're redoing the flooring in our building, and he was worried about the colors of the floor and how that might impact one of our neurodiverse students with some of the sensory issues that the student faces. So the fact that our maintenance director was considering how the layout of new flooring might impact the sensory needs of a student, I think speaks to the power that this grant has had on the mindsets that our staff are taking.
Fourth grade classroom, I also have one of the SEL goals that we chose to focus on this year, which I have posted and have had posted all year on our back wall here. It says fourth graders at Potosi Elementary School will be able to identify others' need for empathy and respond in respectful ways. So that goal is talked about whenever it arrives or comes up, and we've really focused on that this year. And it's also been reinforced in a curriculum called Choose Love.
With a focus on coaching at the universal level, we fully embrace the Choose Love movement, which reinforces what students have learned throughout the course of the grant: self-management, self-awareness, perspective taking, conflict resolution, and empathy. This resource uses evidence-based practices and strategies for developing courage, forgiveness, gratitude, and compassion in action. This resource also has a home and community component that will help us develop a common language around SEL. Our discipline referrals have decreased as we have integrated this resource. The common language used has overlapped with goals from zones of regulation, growing minds, and second step curriculums. The integration of these strategies has benefited all students, particularly those with sensory and neurodiversity, as these systemic changes have created more continuity. In year 2, our elementary staff embraced the Choose Love resource to support students, and in year 3, our middle school staff decided to use this resource with students as well. Recently, district-wide, our high school participated in Choose Love Awareness Month. With our grant cycle coming to an end, a solid foundation for our district to continue to move forward with SEL. We are integrating evidence-based strategies across the district and supporting teachers as they grow. Next year, we have set a focus on family engagement, particularly through Choose Love and Carolyn McGuire's book, Why Will No One Play?